Hi, this is Tweek. I'm going to make a kitty cat doorstop using this bowling pin. Join us. Supplies you need for this project are: you will need a 10-inch bowling pin. You'll need some fabric. I'm using an old hat, an old coat. You need some felt, some Google eyes, some wire for whiskers, lots of hot glue, and some craft rings for making the base. You will also need assorted jewelry or elastic things to decorate your cat with. So let's get started. I wanted to make a doorstop that was fun, and I had these 10 pins kicking around. They're used. You get them at your local bowling alley for a pretty nominal price. And so I'm going to use this for the base. It's a nice heavy item, a little bit wobbly. So to take care of that, we used these craft rings, and we built them up and glued them together till we had a base for this to sit in. And now that we have the base, I can glue the pin into the base, and then I can work on the covering that's going to go over it to make my cat. So let's do that. We've got the base, we've got the glue. None of this will show because it will be covered in fabric, but I'd like, if you pick this kitty up, I'd like it all to stay together. So let's slap this in there. I'm pressing down hard. And I'm going to let that set. And while that sets, okay, we'll work on the body of the kitty cat. I was going to use fur. I wanted to use fur fabric for my cat, and I ended up using a sleeve from an old coat. I just took my seam ripper and I took the sleeve out, and that left me with a perfect shape to do my cat for the bowling pin. And I took apart a hat too. That's going to be my other bit of fabric that I'm using. So you just take apart, this one has suede on one side, faux fur on the other. So look around you and see what you've got to use. Old hunter hats that you can take pieces off of. This could be ears, it could be paws. So use your imagination there. What I've got here is a sleeve, and it's going to fit the pin from base to top. We've got about 16 inches, and this piece here is over 24, so I have more than enough to play around. And I'm going to start by, there's a seam on the sleeve. I'm going to keep that right down the middle, and I'm going to base my kitty on that. So the shorter end of the sleeve, the shorter end of the fabric, is in the front, and the longer is in the back. Okay, we're going to start by creating Kitty's face. So I'm going to take hot glue. I'm going to use a lot of hot glue on this project. And I'm going to put, there's a hole here, and I want to close this up so when we put this down over the pin, it stays in place. So I'm just going to go in the middle here and put a little bit of glue and seam that shut. The fabric, this fur, really binds and blends in with itself. It's a good way to glue. So I just very gently push those together. The fibers stick together. I try to keep it down more so it doesn't come up or spills over the top of this fabric. And I just pinch it in a little bit and let it adhere. So while that dries up, let's work on his front. I'm going for a tuxedo kitty. And like I said, I took apart an old hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in on either side. I'm going to decide how much of a tuxedo I want in the front of my kitty. I'm going to tuck his chin up a little bit under that cuff, and then I'm going to come down. But right now I'd like to have a little more definition in his face. I don't want it straight up. I want it more like a stripe. Yeah, like that. Because when I take his eyes, I want his eyes to be on either side of that stripe. So working from the center again, I'm just going to play around with this fabric and shape it a little bit. Lots of glue here. You have to kind of press it in to make it work. It's hot, so be careful. So what I've got going now is I'm just changing the strip of this fabric. I'm already smiling because I like how this kitty's turning out. And I never know till I get done what they're going to look like. So I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to tuck the fabric in up here. It's already adhering to some of the glue that was in the top there. Just going to very gently tuck. Use that fur to your advantage because all those fibers will adhere to each other. I'm just going to press. Okay, kitty, you've got a stripe on your face now. Now I'm going to tuck the fabric up. That gives him a bit of a chin. And then we have to decide, how much of a tuxedo do you want? Do you want it just a little bit? Do you want a lot? Depends on the kitties you've known in your past, I'm imagining. So let's tuck this piece in. For that part, I'm going to go right here along the cuff. Just put a little dab of glue. And I'm going to gently lay this down and fold up in to that spot. Be careful because it is hot. Fabric does protect you a bit. But see how quickly this kitty's coming together. Now I have an edge here. I don't mind so much because the fur goes right to the edge of the fabric, but I don't want it to pull out and make a mess. So I'm thinking as I bead along here and decide how big I want that tuxedo to be, I'll just fold the fabric under and lay glue down and then fold as I go. I like the way this hat is responding to being a tuxedo cat. So here we are so far. Got his face. All right, I'm trying to decide. I want it to be right about in here. And I'm just going to give it a cut, folks. Let's just cut. I'm just going to cut just like a circular pattern, half circle. Oh my goodness. You know, and because kitties come in so many different fur patterns, you cannot go wrong with this. And as you see, as the fabric's peeling off there, and that will stop. It makes a mess, and I'll be getting a lot of this fur in my face. I just try to pick it up and bundle it up and get it gone. So here we go. We're going to come down the front of the kitty. So I'm going to kind of tuck as I go. I'm not too worried about the final shape. I'm just worried about getting it down. Let's do a little bit at a time. And I'm going to fold this under. Oh my goodness, kitty, you're shedding. So let's come down this side. Not too much measuring going on here. We're just eyeballing everything, which makes it a little more fun. I'm not too worried about if the fabric looks poofy or not. I think that just adds to the furry look of the kitty. Done. Get done with his face. See how quickly that's coming together? I think I'm going to go with his eyes next. So I just kind of lay him in front of me. Now, this cuff, I kind of pulled it out to make more ears, but if I took, let's say I took a piece of this fabric and added that in for ears. Now that's not a bad idea either. Oh gosh, I actually like that. But see, you get an idea of what you can do with different pieces. Actually, I kind of like that. But you're swaying away from being a tuxedo kitty is all. But this piece of flap that went on one of those hunter's caps, that looks, oh my gosh, I might have to do this. I didn't plan on this, but that looks so much like kitty cat ears. I think I'm going to do that. This kitty is going to have ears that peek out on each side. I don't have to do any sewing. All I have to do is some gluing. You're going to have little furry weird ears. Okay, I like it. Let's put it in. I'm really laying in a lot of glue here. Okay, this is where you got to be careful because it is hot. And I'm pushing his ears in where I think I want them. Did not expect you to have fuzzy ears, kitty cat. There's one. These door stoppers, they are really, really cute from all angles. I like that part of it too. Okay, more glue on the inside here. Fuzzy side on the outside. Did not expect to give you ears like this. Okay, I'm going to work on this side a little more. I want a little more glue in there to hold that piece in there. Oh gosh, look at what we have so far. You know, you're starting to look more like a raccoon or maybe a skunk. And do I want to put a little point there? I think I am going to put a little teeny dot of glue just to give our kitty cat a point. I want a pointy ear. And I'm going to hold it because I would like that crease to stay there. I'd like his ear to stay more like a cat ear. What a nice little ear. Let's give you this one too. A little bit of glue here this time just to fold the fabric in. Time to do the eyes. The eyes. I'm using googly eyes, but I thought you could just put a couple googly eyes on either side and be done. I want some color around his eyes. I wanted green or blue, and I've got both here. Just pieces of felt. Let me see which color. I think I want to go for the blue. Now, my other kitty I did green, but this one I think I'm going to go for this real pretty light blue. And I'm just going to cut it. Okay. All I want to do here is make sure that the two pieces are the same. We've got about that much for the eye. I'm going to go around it. Actually use this as a guide. I want you to see a little bit of the kitty eye color. Okay, it's good. It's a little too much. Let's hold it up and see if we like it. I would go there. I think that's good. Pretty simple, huh? Okay, I'll make sure I've got them even. See how there's a spot under his nose here? That's why I didn't go all the way down, because I can tuck his eyeballs a little bit in to his fur. Okay, a little bit of glue. That piece is set. Okay, now I'm going to add his eyes. Now, this is where you decide where do you want the eyes to be. I want them to be, you see blue all around his eyes. So I'm going to put down some glue, wait a second, and then put down the eye. And I want it to still move. It does. Good. And the other side, same thing. Got wide eyes. Okay. I want a little bit of attitude in this kitty. He's not scared, not wide-eyed scared. He's more laid back, chill kitty. So I'm using this piece of black felt, and I'm going to fashion a lid with a couple lashes. I'm going to come up like this. Okay, these two pieces are still hooked together, so I make sure I do them the same. And now I'm just going to fluff this edge just a little bit. And that's my attempt to make lashes. I can pull it down some more. I think he's got some attitude. I like that. I like that kitty. I'm tucking up underneath his fur on his nose. So here's the other piece. I want him to be quizzical, but not sleepy. You're not a sleepy cat. You're on guard. You're a doorstop. I'm not going to lay this strip down yet, because when I add whiskers, I'll do that. So far, he's looking at you. Good kitty. All right, a few things we have left to do here. We have to give you a nose, give you a collar, add whiskers is the last thing. For the nose, I used this, I had this elastic kicking around, and I thought, wow, if you put different colors on this kitty, I mean, you could use a piece of felt, which I didn't have any pink, but I wanted a pink nose. I don't want it bright pink. Ooh, I like that color. I think I'd go for this color over the lighter pink, but you can decide. I'm going to go for this color. And what I'm going to do is very, very simply just take out about an inch or so of this. And I'm going to fold it in on itself to get a V shape. That simple. Just going to fold it in, and I'm going to attach it as his nose. Here we go. Fold you in, a little bit of glue. Now, here's the tricky part. I'm going to see if I can tuck this back piece into the front. Like, think of it as like an envelope. And that puts a little more heft to his nose. There's a little more dimension. And I kind of like that it's a little bit poofy there. And add a little dab of glue. And there we have his nose. And then you got to kind of wiggle it into the fur a little bit. What do we think? Oh, he's getting a little more attitude. What's next? What's next is I want to put him on the pin and attach him, and then I'll work on his collar. So let's see how he goes. See how this stops on the top of the pin? And if you've got all this extra fur, I like that. I almost feel like I'm petting a real cat. So what I'm going to do here is very, very simply pull all this extra fur down around the base. And then I'm going to flip him over and attach the fur so it still moves. I'm not going to try to add the legs or the tail. When you see all these little bumps, you can picture the kitty sitting there with his little paws curled in or his tail pulled in. So let's do that. Are we almost done, kitty? Yes, we are. Oh, cats don't do that. So here we go. I'll lay him down. Here's the edge of the fur, and I'm just going to lay some glue and gently tuck, trying to keep it off the bottom. I want to make sure I'm going down the center of wherever he is. So I'm just going to flip the fabric down a little bit. We just have to glue it. So here we go again, a little more. Just got to make sure you don't tuck in too much of the fabric because I want him to be kind of fluffy. I want him to have little, creases in him, in his fur. I leave the bulk of it in the back. That could imply the tail. The tail's curled up. And I also didn't want something extra that I'd trip over as I'm going past this doorstop. I'll show you how it looks on the bottom. See? When I get his collar there, that'll keep his head from flying off. Although it's not going to fly far, is it? I want to fix his face and add his collar. And here, I just want to bring in a little more character. And I'm just going to pull in just a little bit in here. Isn't it funny how it's flat out? If you just pull it in a little bit, he all of a sudden has an attitude. You see that? It's just so funny. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of glue on either side, and then I'm just going to pinch it. However it comes out, it comes out. Okay, I'm not going to mess with you, kitty. You look like you're getting, like a headache or something. Look at how that changed his face. He's looking at you. Who are you looking at? So let's finish our kitty. Did not expect the ears. So we need whiskers, and we need, see how you don't need to add paws or tail because he's so, just, it looks like they're already all there. The collar, what I'm going to go with is a leather belt. That's actually a purse handle, purse strap. So you sit here for a minute, kitty, while I work on your purse strap. Let the people see you. Here's the purse strap. It's yellow. I think that'll look nice on him, but I'm going to embellish it a little bit. So what I need to do is decide where on the kitty I'd like this to be. Well, I don't think I want the part with the buckle. Let's see if I can get this undone here. I don't think I want to deal with the buckle. I think I want to just deal with the strap. This end is nicely stitched. So I'm going to see how much of it I want on the cat. And measuring his head. So when you pick him up, That's going to help you grab him and move him, whichever door you want him to sit at. So I've got about this much. I'm going to come a little bit further over and I'm just going to snip it. There goes the purse strap. But it's not going to be, it's going to be a little more decorative than that. Don't you worry. So this first hole there is where my leather is going to come around. So I have this much to play with in decorating. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got some little beads here just to sparkle up his collar a little bit. Put it on the cat. Oh, looks like you have a mouth there too. That is so cool. So I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see, I'm just going to glue this part to that part. I'm going to pull it in as far as I can, and I'm just going to glue it. Okay? I'm going to keep my finger under there. I'm not really concerned about the cat fur. I just don't want to get glue on it. I want to keep the glue on this. So here we go. Try not to get burned here. That would be optimum. Okay. Here we go. You see how that pulls the fur in too, gives him more of a definition for his head. When I want to add to the front, I want to add a bell. I've got these bells from another project. And what I'm going to do is snip, keep the bell intact, and I'm just going to come underneath the collar and pull that thread through. So I'm just tying the bell on. I'm going to put 3 knots just in case. Okay, then I'm going to cut the excess and hide that knot. Now the birds can hear you coming. So here we go, the final. I want to fix his face. But first I have to add the whiskers. This all here, I'm going to tack that back. See how it changes his face? It's just so funny, a little bit of tucking. Let's see if I can do this without getting burned. And then I'm going to pull in on this side, and I want to leave these open because I still have to add whiskers. So just a little bit of glue there. I'm using the fabric to kind of pinch it. So now whiskers. We got this space here to add whiskers and some up here. Whiskers. This is that jewelry wire that I use, and this is the thinner kind, the 0.012, and I'm just going to pull off a bit. I want quite a few whiskers. Okay, so I'm just going to take random chunks of this wire. Let's see if I can do it this way. What I'm doing is just looking to see how long I want his whiskers to be. And then I'm going to fold this over at random lengths. So I have like a common spot in the bottom here. Like that. That thing didn't work. This is such thin wire. And then I see if that's what I like. I do, but I want more. I want more whiskers. So here again, just pile it up till you see what you like. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put 6 whiskers here. Now I'm just going to take glue and glob the glue right in here. I want them to be kind of random. I don't want them to be perfect. I want them to be kind of crazy. I'm going to come under where his face is right in here. I'm just going to let the two come together. And I can pull it down a little bit. You can have a few seconds where the glue can still be manipulated before it gets solid. See how his whiskers are just going every which way? I love that, because when you see a cat, the whiskers do go everywhere. They're not just one side perfect to the other, they're just all over their face. Okay, so now I'm going to pull off the excess. I want to do eyebrows. These I want to do a little shorter. Again, I want them to be kind of crazy. I don't want them to be all one length. So you can have more whiskers on one side than the other. I just want them to have whiskers. They're in there. Let's make them look a little crazier. Let's put some up by your ears. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we done with you, kitty? Are you a doorstop? Oh my gosh, look how cute those came out. I'm trying to think, do I want anything else? Do you have anything? Oh, I should have got you a fish. Well, that didn't happen today. Well, let's show people what you look like. See how you can move manipulate his fur? Nice kitty. But he's solid. He's not going anywhere. Kick him. Hopefully he won't hurt you. He won't, will you? And you can manipulate him just a little bit. You want to see his friend? Here's the other. Which one has more attitude? Well, we'll let you decide. So if you like what you've seen here today, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and remember to ring the bell so you know when another episode of Tweeks with Tweek is coming along. Until then, look what old coats and old scarves and some whiskers can do to make a very cute doorstop. Functional, amusing, and oh, so soft. See you again.